I approach the bus, I'm checking the sides of the bus, making sure there's no damage, no broken windows. The bus is not leaning from left to right, indicating maybe a flat tire or a broken airline. I'm going to open the hood. As I come around to the driver's side, I'm going to inspect the electrical wiring, making sure the wires are connected, secured, not burnt or frayed. I'm going to check the engine oil with the engine cool. I'm going to pull the stick out, wipe it off, reinsert it, pull it back out, check to make sure that it is between add and full. I'm going to check my transmission fluid with the engine at operating temperature. I'm going to pull the stick out, wipe it off, reinsert it, pull it back out, making sure that it's between add and full. As I come across over, I have my air compressor. I want to make sure that it is securely mounted. The hoses are not cracked or broken. I'm going to come over now to my coolant reservoir, making sure that it is in between the add and the full mark. The hoses are secured and not leaking. I have my steering linkage. I have 3 rods come down, and the other one goes across to the other tire on the passenger side, making sure that they are securely mounted, well greased, not bent or twisted. I have my power steering box that is securely mounted. The hoses are secured and not leaking. From here, I check my spring mounts that are securely mounted. The bushings in place, not cracked or broken. I have my leaf springs. They are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or twisted. I have my U-bolts that are securely mounted, not cracked or broken. From here, I have my shock that is securely mounted, not leaking, and not twisted. I have my brake line or brake hose, which is securely mounted, not cracked or torn. I have my brake chamber, which is securely mounted, no dents, and the clamp is securely mounted. I have my push rod and slack adjuster, making sure that they are secured, the pin is in place. In order to check the slack adjuster, I would chalk the rear wheels, put the bus in neutral, parking brake off, making sure that I have no more than 1 inch of play. As I go inside the tire area, I have my brake drum, which is securely mounted, not cracked or broken, and free of debris. Then I have my brake shoes that are securely mounted, should not be less than 1/4 of an inch thick of pad when visible, and no grease. As I come around to the outside of the tire, I have my top of the tire, should not be less than 4/32 tread depth. I have my sidewalls, should have no cracks or bulges. I have my rim, should not have any illegal welds or bends or dents. I have my lug nuts, should be secured with no rust trails indicating that the lug nut is loose. I have my axle hub, which is securely mounted, all the bolts are, and it is not leaking. I have my valve stem, making sure it is centered, the cap is on. In order to check the tire pressure, I would use a tire pressure gauge or a rubber mallet. Last but not least, I have my mud flap, which is securely mounted, if equipped. Okay, now we'll go over to the passenger side. As I'm looking here, I'm looking behind the fan at the water pump, which is securely mounted, and indicating that it is not leaking. There is no puddle underneath the engine compartment. I have my serpentine belt. It is not cracked or frayed, and it should not be more than 1 inch of play, ½ inch of play. I have my alternator securely mounted. The wires are secured, not burnt or frayed. I have my power steering reservoir. Should securely mounted. Should between the fill, the minimum and maximum. The hoses are securely mounted and not leaking. I have my windshield washer fluid that is securely mounted and has adequate fluid and is not leaking. Within that, I would check the hoses on this side too to make sure that they are securely mounted and not leaking. Now everything from the leaf spring mounts to the mud flap, I would check the same way on this side as I did on the driver's side. Okay, at that point, I am going to shut the hood. As I am entering the bus, I'm opening the door, checking the rubber seals to make sure that they are in good condition, not ripped or torn. The glass is not cracked or broken or fogged. The door operates smoothly. The handrail is secured. The steps are free of debris and no rust holes. As I'm coming inside the bus, I'm checking my fire extinguisher, making sure it is securely mounted. The pin is in place. It is in the green for charged, and it is current and up to date. I also have my 3 triangles, which are securely mounted and in place. Up above here, I have my first aid kit, securely mounted. Check to make sure that it's fully stocked. Body fluid cleanup kit, securely mounted. Check to make sure it is fully stocked. Over here, we have our insurance, registration, and accident forms. Okay, as I'm coming down, I'm going to sit in my seat, properly adjust my seat to me. As I'm doing this, I'm going to be putting on my seatbelt, making sure that it's secured here. It is not torn or frayed. Secured here in all 3 spots and on the side. Okay, I'm going to check my mirrors, making sure that they are properly adjusted for me. If they are not, I will adjust them. Okay. As I'm looking out at the windshield, I'm noticing that the windshield is not cracked or broken. The visor is not cracked or broken and in good working condition. Okay. Now I'm getting ready to start the bus. I'm going to do a safe start, which includes that the gear shift is in neutral and the parking brake is engaged. With my foot on the service brake, turn the key on. Let it cycle through. Start the bus. I'm going to shut the door. Okay. First thing I'm going to check is my parking brake. So the parking brake is engaged. I'm going to put it in gear and attempt to pull forward.
Child checkmate is now activated.
The bus does not move. At this point, I'm going to disconnect the parking brake and check my service brake. With my hands off the wheel, I'm going to pull forward 2 times. Applying the brake, making sure that there's no pull in the steering wheel, indicating that my brakes are out of adjustment. No pull, brakes are good. At this time, I'm going to put it in neutral. I'm going to shut the bus off, turn it back on, keeping my foot on the service brake.
Please conduct your child search.
And I'm going to be checking my air brakes. With the pressure up above 90 and in between 120, I'm going to hold my foot on the brake for a minute to make sure that I don't lose more than 3 psi's. Looking at the gauges, the gauges are not moving, so at this time I'm going to pump the brakes down until the warning lights come on at around 60. The warning lights came on. I'm going to keep pumping until the parking brake pops out at in between 0 and 30 psi. Parking brake popped out. At this time, I'm going to restart the bus. And with the low pressure, I'm going to make sure that the parking brake does hold. Parking brake holds. While the air pressure is building up, I'm going to go check my switches over here on the left side. I'm going to check my strobe light. The light on the switch indicates that my strobe light is on, showing that it is working. Driver's dome. Light is on, light is lit. The lens is not cracked or broken. Interior dome. We have 7 lights on this bus. They are securely mounted. The lights are on, they are not cracked or broken. Boost pump. The light is indicating that the boost pump is working. Heated mirrors. Light is indicated that they are working. I have my rear heaters. I'm going to listen for low and high. I have low, I can hear it. High, I can hear it. Defrost fans. Low, I can hear it. High, I can hear it. Midship heater. Low, I can hear it. High, I can hear it. Stepwell heater. Low, I can hear it. High, I can hear it. Driver's heater. Low, I can feel it and hear it. High, I can feel it and hear it. I have my 2 fans for defrost fans on the windshield. I have my low, I can feel it on the left side, and high, they are working. I have my right fan, low, high, they are working. I'm going to turn on my headlights. I have my headlights on. The dash light is indicating that my headlights are on. I'm going to check my wipers. Turn it on low, high, check the fluids. The fluid is coming out, cleaning the windshield. And I'm also checking the wiper arms and blades to make sure that they are not broke, bent, or torn. Coming over here, I'm going to check my gauges. I have my amp meters in the positive, charging. I have my water temperature gauge, showing it at about 165. Should not be more than 220. Oil pressure gauge, between 20 and 60. RPMs is up in the RPMs. It's working. Speedometer, we're not moving, but we can check that later. My fuel gauge is showing almost a full tank of gas. My volts are in the green. They're between 12 and 14. I have my 2 air tanks that are fully charged up to 120. I have my interior intercom and my 2-way radio. Okay, at this point, since we're fully charged, I'm going to shut the bus off, turn it back to the on position.
Please conduct your child search now.
I'm going to turn on my hazard lights. Dash indicating that the hazard lights are working. And if I look carefully enough in the crossover mirrors, I can see that they are working. Now I'm going to activate my 8-way ambers. Power switch. Dash is indicating that they are working. I'm going to get up and I'm going to make my walk to the back of the bus, checking the bottom of the seats to make sure that they are secure by pulling on the back of the bottom of the seats. We have a loose one. We have 2 loose ones. 3 loose ones. Okay, at the back of the bus, we have an emergency exit, clearly labeled. I'm going to open the door, the buzzer's going to sound. I'm going to check my 8-way ambers, my hazard lights, and my tail lights to make sure that they are working. Buzzer sounds. And they are working. As I grab my placard, making my way to the front of the bus, I'm going to check the back of the seats to make sure that there's cushion. I have 2 roof emergency exits, clearly labeled. This one's popped up. I'm going to turn the handle. Buzzer's going to sound. I'm going to lift up. I'm going to back down. Emergency roof hatch works. I have 2 emergency roof hatch exits. I would check them the same way. As I'm coming down, I have 4 side emergency exits, clearly labeled. In order to check it, I'm going to lift the handle. Buzzer's going to sound. Buzzer sounds. Push out. Shut. I would check the other 3 that I have the same way as I do this one. On the way back up, checking the seat cushions. Okay, as I sit back in the seat for a second, I'm going to turn off my hazards, turn on my right turn signal. Indicator light is showing that it is working. Now I'm going to be opening my door to make sure that the door opens and closes properly, which it does. Okay. As we exit the bus, I'm going to come down, holding the handrail, checking to make sure that my stepwell light is lit. I'm coming across and checking my mirrors, making sure they are secure, not cracked or broken. I have my crossover mirror, secure, not cracked or broken. My crossing arm is extended and in working condition. In front of the bus, I have my 3 amber clearance lights, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. I have my 8-way reds, securely working, not cracked, broken, or missing. My school bus sign is clearly labeled. My grill is free of any debris. My bumper is securely mounted. My license plate is current and up to date. I will also look underneath the bus to make sure that there are no leaks. I have my right turn signal indicator. Light is working, it's not cracked or broken or missing. My headlights are working, not cracked, broken, or missing. Coming to the side, I have my crossover mirror securely mounted, not cracked or broken. I have my state DOT inspection sticker. It's current and up to date. I have my other mirror securely mounted, not cracked or broken. In here I have my fuse compartment. I'm going to open up the fuse compartment, checking the wires, making sure they are not burnt or frayed or no suspicious devices. If I was to travel over 100 miles, I would bring along extra fuses. Down below, I have my battery box. The batteries are securely mounted. The wires are not burnt or frayed. The batteries themselves are not leaking, and there's no suspicious devices. As I stand back here, I have 3 clearance lights, 2 amber, 1 red. They are securely mounted, not cracked or broken or missing, and working. I have 3 reflectors, 2 amber, 1 red, in correspondence with the clearance lights that are not cracked, broken, or missing. I have my stop sign. It is extended and it is working on both sides. As I come to here, I have 2 emergency exits, clearly labeled with reflective tape around each one. As I go, I look underneath the bus here. I have my drive shaft, which is securely mounted. The U-bolts are securely mounted, well lubricated. The drive shaft is not bent or twisted. I have my exhaust and my muffler securely mounted. I don't see any rust spots indicating leaks. I also have my frame. I'm checking the frame and the cross members. Make sure that all the cross members are there. The frame is secured. It's not cracked or bent. Okay. We're coming around here. As we come to the back tires, I would end up checking the spring mounts. There's 2 of them. They are securely mounted. The bushings are in place. They're not cracked or broken. I have the leaf springs. They are securely mounted. Not cracked, broken, or twisted. I have my U-bolts that I would check, and they are securely mounted and not cracked or broken. From there, I have my shock absorber. I would check that to make sure that it is securely mounted, it is not leaking, and it is not twisted or bent. From there I have my brake line or brake hose, making sure that it is securely mounted and not cracked or torn. Goes to my brake chamber. My brake chamber is securely mounted, there are no dents, and the clamp around the brake chamber is secured. I have my slack adjuster and push rod. I'd be checking them, making sure that the pins are in place. And in order to check these, I would chalk the front tires. Put the bus in neutral, parking brake disengaged. There should be no more than 1 inch of play. From inside there, I'd be checking my brake drums to make sure that they are not cracked or broken and no debris. I have my brake pads or shoes. I will be checking to make sure there's no debris, they're not cracked, and there should be not less than 1/4 of an inch of when visible. Coming around to the top of the tires, tire tread depth should be no less than 2/32. These can be a recap. I have my sidewalls on both sides. I would be checking to make sure that there's no bulges or cracks. I would also be checking in between the tires to make sure that they are evenly spaced. I have my rim, making sure that there are no illegal welds or dents. I have my lug nuts, making sure that they are securely mounted, no rust trails or shiny spots indicating that they are loose. I have my axle hub that is securely mounted and it is not leaking. I have my 2 valve stems for one for each tire, making sure that they are centered and the cap is on. In order to check the tire pressure, I would use a tire pressure gauge or a rubber mallet. And last but not least, I have my mud flap. Make sure that that is securely mounted. Okay, we're coming around the bus. Going to the back of the bus. I'm going to look at my 3 red clearance lights on top. They're securely mounted, working, not cracked, broken, or missing. My school bus sign, clearly labeled. Emergency door, clearly labeled. My 2 red 8-way are working, not cracked, broken, or missing. This time I'm going to check the door. As I open the door, the buzzer will sound. I'm going to open the door, making sure that the latch holds the door open. Looking at the rubber seal, making sure that it is in good condition, not torn. Also checking the hinges. Make sure that all the bolts are there, they're not cracked or broken. Again, as I'm looking at the bus, I'm checking my tail lights. They are working, they are not cracked or broken or missing. I have my right turn signal, it is working. The lens is not cracked or broken or missing. I have my license plate, which is secured and up to date. I have my 2 red reflectors that are present, not cracked or broken. The bumper is securely mounted, and my exhaust is securely mounted. As we come around to the passenger side of the bus, I'm checking real quick, make sure my lights are all working. Glass is not broken. As I come to the rear tire, I would check the rear tire the same way I did as on the driver's side. As I come back around, I have my right turn signal indicator light working, not cracked or broken or missing. I have my fuel gauge tank. Open it up, make sure the cap is on secure, the tank is not leaking, and the cage around the tank is secured and not cracked or broken. I'm going to go inside the bus at this time. I'm going to turn my left turn signal on and my high beams. Okay, my left turn signal indicator light is showing that it is working, and my high beam indicator is showing that it is working. I'm going to disengage my 8-ways and make my trip around the bus. Again, just take a look here. As I come to the front, I'm looking at my high beam. The lights are working. They are not cracked, broken, or missing. My left turn signal indicator light is working. It is not cracked, broken, or missing. Come over here, I have my left turn signal indicator light. It is working, not cracked, broken, or missing. As I come to the back of the bus, I'm checking my left turn signal. Indicator light is working. The lens is not cracked, broken, or missing. At this point, I would ask the tester if he could stand back here as I go inside the bus. I'm going to turn on the brake lights and the reverse lights and have him give me the thumbs up. If he gives me when he gives me the thumbs up, then it's okay for him to come back into the bus. So we'll do that right now. As I get back in the bus, I'm going to put my seatbelt on, turn my signal off and my high beams, start the bus, looking out the mirror. I applied my brake lights, the tester is giving me the thumbs up. I'm going to put the bus in reverse. Tester has given me the thumbs up, and now he or she can proceed into the bus. And that concludes our pre-trip.